Good evening, everybody, from the Astrodome in Houston. We bid you welcome to Reds baseball. The Reds and the Astros hooking up in the third and final game of the series tonight. Each club, of course, has won a game. The Reds dropped a tough 5-4 decision on Friday night, but then came back and scored early and scored often en route to an 8-5 win last night as rookie lefty Joe Price picked up his first Major League win. Tonight, Charlie Leibrandt will be shooting for victory number 8 of this 1980 season against a hard-throwing right-hander, another hard-throwing right-hander for Houston in Nolan Ryan. And we'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, the starting lineups tonight for the Cincinnati Reds, leading off and playing left field, will be Dave Collins. Batting second at shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Ken Griffey will play right field and bat third. Hitting fourth at first base, Danny Dreesen. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Ray Knight. Hitting number 6 in center field, Cesar Geronimo. Batting seventh, Junior Kennedy at second base. Hitting 8th and catching, Joe Nolan. And batting 9th and pitching for Cincinnati, left-hander Charlie Leibrandt. Again for the Reds, it's Collins in left field, Concepcion at shortstop, and Griffey in right field. Dreesen at first base, Knight at third base, Geronimo in center field. With Kennedy at second, Nolan catching, and Leibrandt pitching. For the Astros, their leadoff batter will be Rafael Landistoi, the second baseman. Terry Poole will play right field and bat second. Jose Cruz, he's a left fielder, and he'll be batting third. Hitting fourth, Cesar Cedeno in center field. Enos Cabell will play third base and bat fifth. Art Howe, the first baseman, will hit number 6. Batting seventh, the catcher, Luis Pujols. Craig Reynolds will play shortstop and bat 8th. And hitting ninth, the Houston pitcher, right-hander Nolan Ryan. Once more for the Astros, it's Landistoi at second base, Poole in right field, Cruz in left field. Cedeno in center field, Cabell at third base, Howe at first. With Pujols catching, Reynolds at shortstop, and Ryan on the mound. Dave Collins in and waiting to lead it off as Ryan brings a pitch to the plate, is taken outside for a ball, and this game is underway.
I don't like to think negative, but Geronimo's in the lineup tonight.
Yes, he is. Certainly is. 1-0 the count on Collins, hitting .283, and that fastball is high, and the count goes to 2-0. Well, the Reds defeated J.R. Richard last night, 8-5 the final score. Richard having to leave in the fourth inning because of a stiffness in his forearm, but the Reds were out in front 3-2 at the time of his departure. Collins takes that one high, and Ryan's a pitch away from walking the leadoff batter on 4 straight pitches, 3 balls and no strikes. He's making his 16th start of the season, has 2 complete games, has allowed only 77 base hits in 104 2/3 innings. There's a call strike. He took something off the pitch and got it over at the letters, 3-1. Dave Concepcion on deck. He'll be followed by Ken Griffey, the 3-1 to Collins, and swung on and foul back. So Ryan has come off the mat to run the count full on the Reds left fielder. For Houston defensively, Art Howe at first, Rafael Landistoi at second, Craig Reynolds at short, the third baseman Enos Cabell in left field, Jose Cruz, Cesar Cedeno in center, and Terry Poole in right. Luis Pujols doing the catching, his first call at that spot in the series after Ashby went in the first 2. 3-2 to Collins. Ball 4 and Davies on. Collins, who has stolen a total of 3 bases this season against Houston, 1 so far in this series, is on at first base with a leadoff walk, and here's Dave Concepcion. David batting .233 with 3 home runs and 29 runs batted in. Collins with 31 steals. He's been caught only twice this season. And, of course, has a consecutive stolen base string going of 22 in a row. Ryan out of the stretch. He turns and will throw to first, and Collins is back. Dave Concepcion slowly inching that batting average upwards and swinging the bat much better the last week or so. Another quick throw to first base, and that ball bouncing off the glove of Art Howe and coming to rest right there on the side of the bag as he applied the quick tag on Collins. So Richard vitally concerned about what Dave Collins is going to be doing. The right-hander bangs on that bubble gum, pops those bubbles on the mound. Now he's ready. And the pitch to Concepcion is taken at the knees, a strike. Lanny Harris, the plate umpire. At first base, Terry Tata, Bruce Fremming at second. Over at third, John Kibler. In the first of two at Candlestick, the Giants scored in the bottom of the ninth inning a run to defeat the Dodgers 4-3. Got another one still to come. Ryan with the 0-1. Davey swings, drives one back into right center field. Terry Poole racing back on a warning track, and the ball falls for a base hit. Collins coming on to third base. Concepcion round second. Collins will score. Concepcion sliding safely at third with a run-scoring triple. Dave Concepcion driving one to deep right center field, scoring Dave Collins from first, and the Reds lead at 1-0.
Marty, that was a pitch that Dave's been having trouble with, a fastball out and up over the plate. Out, when I say out, I mean on the outside corner of the plate, and he got a whole bunch of that. We got to give Ryan a little credit. I think that his velocity helped send it that far, but he hit it extremely well.
Terry Poole gave it an all-out shot, but simply could not get there in time. So Concepcion's at third. The run is home. Davey picking up run, batted in number 30. Here's Ken Griffey. Ryan pitches, and Griffey takes the ball high. Kenny with 3 hits last night, and again he should have had 4. Bad scoring decision by the official score in the first inning. Called an error on a ball that he hit to Art Howe that the Astros had no chance at all of getting Davey or Kenny on, but still 3 hits on the night and batting .317. He swings and he misses. Count evens at 1-1. He's had 13 RBIs in the last 7 games, Griffey has, to move into second place on the club with a total of 40 RBIs. Ray Knight leads the club with 45 or 46. And Kenny can get number 41 right here if he can bring Concepcion home from third. The pitch is up, an off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1. So Collins draws a leadoff walk. Griffey triples to deep right center. Concepcion at third base with a triple, and Griffey waiting on the 2-1 pitch from Nolan Ryan. Here's a pause in the pitch. It's outside, ball 3. Danny Dreesen on deck. Ryan, like so many of the great ones, having trouble on occasion getting going early in a game. You got to make the most of it. Here's a pop foul out of play to the left. Ball carries back into the seats, and the count is full on Ken Griffey. So Ryan full on his second batter. Went 3-2 on Collins and missed high with a fastball to put him on, and now is 3 balls and 2 strikes on Ken Griffey. Davey down the line from third. The outfield for Griffey straight away. The payoff pitch, and he walked him, missing way inside. And Pujols, with a nice play on the ball, saved a possible wild pitch and a possible run. So a walk, a triple, and another walk. Ryan has yet to retire a batter and will be facing first baseman Dan Dreesen. Danny checking in at 280 with 8 home runs and 37 RBIs. Houston infield looking for the ground ball with Concepcion at third. Griffey now on at first base. Dreesen waiting. Here's a pitch. Swung on, drilled to left field. Going back is Cruz. He'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring is Concepcion. And Dreesen will hold at first base. So the Reds lead it 2-0. As Danny Dreesen drives an opposite field fly ball to left to get Dave Concepcion home. And Ken Griffey holds at first base on the initial out of the inning. RBI number 38 for Danny Dreesen. Ray Knight looks to third base coach Russ Nixon before he steps in. Knight with a .287 batting average, 8 home runs, and a club-leading 46 knocked in. Ryan will throw and drive Griffey back to first base. So the Reds are attempting to do something tonight that they did earlier this season back in April, and that is to beat the Astros 2 out of 3 in this ballpark. Here's a pitch tonight with Griffey going. Check swing, strike, throw down to second. Not in time. 12th stolen base of the season for Ken Griffey. And the pitch was in for a strike to Ray Knight. So things going all Cincinnati's way here in the first inning. And their opening shot at Nolan Ryan. 2 runs are in. Griffey now at second base on the steal, and a 1-strike count on Ray Knight. Ryan with a motion, the pitch. Bouncing ball slowly hit third base side. Charging Cabell. Barehanding and throwing in time. Griffey has to hold at second. There are 2 men out. Batter will be Cesar Geronimo.
Well, Kenny Griffey a little upset with himself that he didn't move on to third base, and Kenny shows some disgust standing out at second.
Indianapolis and Springfield. The Indians trying to avoid a Springfield 3-game sweep. And they are now in the 13th inning at Busch Stadium, tied up at 2-2. Bruce Perenni, the starting pitcher for Indianapolis, and apparently pitched himself a whale of a game. And they're now in the 13th. Springfield batting and tied up at 2 runs apiece. Geronimo had a couple of hits last night, batting at .281. He bounces foul off the first base side. Got another good crowd here tonight. Doesn't appear to be as big as the one we had here last night. They had standing room only for that game and a count of 45,053. But a crowd well in excess, it would appear, of 40,000. Here's a fly ball hit into left center field. Cruz and Cedeno on the move, and it will be caught by Cruz as he and Cedeno crisscross in deep left center field. In the first for Cincinnati, 2 runs, a base hit. No errors and a man left, and after a half inning of play in the series wind up, Cincinnati 2 and Houston coming to bat. Ryan will continue to work out of the stretch with the bases loaded. Davey waving the bat around. Here comes a pitch, and he takes a breaking ball low and away. Ball 1. That 3-base hit in the first inning tonight, the second triple that Concepcion has had in this series. He tripled a straightaway center in the 4th inning last night off Randy Neiman to knock in 2. Line drive, base hit into right center field. In to score comes Nolan, and the bases will remain loaded. A line drive that just eluded Landestoy at second. So everybody had to hold up for the ball to clear the infield, and Concepcion has brought the Reds to within 3 at 5-3 with a bases loaded single. Soto goes to third, Collins to second. Concepcion with his second RBI and his second hit of the night. Here's Ken Griffey. He's walked and flied to right field. Now the Reds are 2 runs down, have the bases loaded, 1 man out. Ryan brings it to the plate. Griffey pulls it foul. Now Charlie Lebrand, who was unable to survive the second, the Red starter, and now Houston starter Nolan Ryan having to be concerned about surviving the 5th inning. Kennedy and Nolan open with base hits. Soto bunted into a force play at third, but Collins walked, and Concepcion has driven a base hit into right center to get a run in. Pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Soto third, Collins second, Concepcion at first. .316 batting Ken Griffey, the top average on the club. Swinging another foul ball. Ryan ahead 1-2. Danny Dreesen, right hand on hip, waiting on deck. Nolan Ryan now wants a new baseball from the plate umpire. Number 34 climbing back on top the mound. Gloved hand on left knee, looks to Luis Pujols for the sign. He'd love to have a strikeout in this situation right here. And Griffey hits a slow bouncer to the right side. They'll get the force play at second, but a run scores, making it 5-4 as Soto streaks in from third, and Collins moves to third base. So Griffey hits a slow, high bouncing ball to second as they get the force out at second base on Dave Concepcion, but Soto scores and the Reds are a run away. Griffey, RBI number 41. Here's Danny Dreesen. He's had a sacrifice fly and lined out hard to right. He lines one up the middle, but off the glove of Craig Reynolds, The tying run will score. Reynolds picked the ball up and threw it in the direction of second base and hit Ken Griffey as he went sprawling on the AstroTurf out in shallow center. That's going to be a base hit for Danny Dreesen and an RBI. The Reds have scored 3 in the inning to tie it up. And Bill Burden is coming to the mound, and that may well be it for Nolan Ryan. Lanny did, and the end result is Burden will get an early shower. And since number 7 has been pitched out, he is going to get his 2 cents worth in right now. Bill Burden laying a few verbal blandishments on Lanny Harris as Joaquin Andujar is now on in relief of Nolan Ryan. We've got another break in the action in a 5-5 game, and we'll return in just a moment. Knight fouls it back. It's 1-1. Kennedy and Nolan single. Soto bunted into a force play. Collins walked to load him up. Concepcion single, making it 5-3. Griffey hit into a force play, 5-4. And Dreesen with a hard line drive single off the glove of Reynolds at short, 5-5. Danny with a second RBI of the night and his 39th of the season. Now Andujar calls time. He wants a new ball. Oh, we got another dandy going in Houston tonight. Had 2 good ones in a row. And another cut out of the same mold. 1-1 pitch. Check swing. Ball 2. The only man who has not hit in the inning is on deck, Cesar Geronimo. And coming into this inning, Ryan had retired 12 straight. The stretch, the pause, and the pitch. Outside, ball 3. 3-1. Knight trying to break the tie. He lines one by the shortstop Reynolds. That's going to send the tie-breaking run home as Griffey comes around from second base and the Reds lead 6-5. Holding at 1 ball and 2 strikes on Dave Concepcion. A Cincinnati threat in the 6th inning as they lead the Astros 6-5. Concepcion has been a clutch hitter twice tonight. He's trying to make it a 3rd time. Andujar hoping for the strikeout. He's ready. He's dealing. Ground ball up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. In to score comes Kennedy. Joe Nolan will come on behind him. A 2-run single for Concepcion. The Reds lead 8-5. So now Danny Dreesen, who is 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs, begins the 9th inning. LaCourte kicks and throws. Dreesen swings and rips one into right field. That's going to be a base hit. One bounce. It goes to the wall. The ball kicks away from Poole. Dreesen comes to second. Will hold there with a leadoff double. Danny's second hit of the night as he drives a double into the corner in right field. And that will probably get Joe Sambito at will throwing in the Houston pen. Ray Knight, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Follow the Reds at home or on the road with Joe and me. Tonight, we'd like to tip our cap to these Reds Radio Network stations: WHFD in Archbold, Ohio, WHBU in Anderson, Indiana, WOKH in Bardstown, Kentucky, and WJLS in Beckley, West Virginia. Strike is called a curveball. Frank LaCourte, the former Brave who has found a homeboy in a big way here in Houston. Inside with a fastball, 1-1. Atlanta gave up on him. It was viewed as a minor trade by most people, but the productivity of this young man turns it into a big plus for the Astros. Swung on and a high, deep drive to left field. Going back Cruz, and he's got room. 1 out. Ray Knight just missed him. Now the batter will be Cesar Geronimo. After a leadoff double to right by Dreesen, Knight flies out to fairly deep left. Actually, Cruz caught it short of the warning track. Geronimo is 0 for 3. LaCourte came into this game with an earned run average of 0.55, if you can believe it. Ball high, and the only run he's allowed is an unearned run. Zambito continues to stay ready. Dreesen's at second, one man out in the ninth. Swung on, fouled away. 1-1. Dreesen backing off the bag at second as LaCourte looks to Alan Ashby. Stretching the pitch. High, ball 2, 2-1. Houston 12, Cincinnati 9. Geronimo hits one by the third baseman Enos Cabell into left field. Danny Dreesen will go to third base and stop right there. So Geronimo does his job with a line hit to left. Dreesen can only move to third, not knowing whether the ball would get through the infield. And Junior Kennedy is going to be taken down, and it looks like George Foster is going to come up to pinch hit. Frank LaCourte studies a sign. He stretches and pitches, and Foster takes a wild one that gets away from Ashby, bounces over toward the Reds dugout, and Dreesen scores to make it 12-10. Geronimo moves to second as LaCourte wild pitches Danny Dreesen in from third base. Mel Wright to the mound to talk with the Houston right-hander. Now the meeting breaking off. Doug Bear throwing in the Reds bullpen. Zambito throwing for Houston. Second run scored against LaCourte in the game. This one an earned run. And again, you talk about percentages. LaCourte has not allowed a home run this season. His 1-0 pitch to Foster, taken up high. 2 balls and no strikes. The Reds and the Astros in an old-fashioned frog strangler here in Houston tonight. 39,300 and change, and they have seen something tonight and an extension of what we saw Friday night and last night. It has been some kind of series. Foster looks at a strike away. 2-1. LaCourte has pitched a total of 35 innings without giving up a home run this season. He is one of 3 Houston pitchers who has not had a batter leave on him. Very high pop-up off to the right and enough carry on it to get it out of play. So the count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. LaCourte's not given up a home run. Randy Neiman has not allowed one. J.R. Richard has not given up. Make it 4. Dave Smith has not allowed a home run. As a pitching staff, Houston has given up but 23. So on top of having the best earned run average in the National League at 270, it is also a staff that has given up the fewest home runs. A run is home, 1 man is out. Geronimo's at second. LaCourte 2-2s to Foster. And that's a wild pitch, and that's going to get Geronimo to third. Frank LaCourte having all kinds of problems. So 3-2 on Foster. The Reds are 2 runs short of Houston at 12-10. Here's a stretch of the payoff pitch, and if Foster fouls it away. Well, a look ahead now. You've got a left-handed batter in Joe Nolan coming up next. Joe Zambito, the Astros money in the bank in that bullpen, is ready. Got to figure Bill Burden is going to go to him no matter, well, if Foster should make an out. We'll have to wait and see. And, of course, John McNamara could counter that move. Foster strikes out swinging. Boy, give Frank LaCourte a lot of credit. He went 3-2 on him and said, here it is, big guy. My best pitch, fastball. See what you can do with it. And he won the one-on-one battle. The first strikeout for LaCourte, and a mighty big one. So Joe Nolan will try to keep the Red hopes alive with 2 away. He's had a hit. He's walked. He has had a sacrifice fly to get a run in. This is the longest stint for Frank LaCourte this season. Previously, his longest was 2 1/3. He delivers to Nolan. Ball high. Talking about what's available to John McNamara on the bench if Nolan gets on. Of course, Johnny Bench. The 1-0 to Nolan. That's a ball. 2-0. Geronimo at third. Now 2 men out. Nolan a pitch away from a walk. Ball 3. Well, Tommy Hume is on deck. He definitely will be taken down for a pinch hitter. Nolan a pitch away from getting a free ride. The stretch in the pitch. And that is ball 4 high, and Nolan is on. So now the tying runs are aboard. John McNamara bringing Tommy Hume back into the dugout. As Frank LaCourte has given up his second walk. And this is a decoy move right here, I would suspect. Let's see what Bill Burden is going to do, because Harry Spillman has moved on deck. Now the ball is in, I say, Bill Burden's court. Bob Lillis is the acting manager. Let's see, after Spillman's name is announced, if he will go down and bring on Zambito. And if that happens, you can look for Spillman to be brought back and Johnny Bench probably sent to the plate to hit. Here comes Bob Lillis to the mound. We're going to get a runner at first base for Joe Nolan, Ronnie Oster. And Joe Zambito has been called from the bullpen, and now that his name has been announced, Johnny Bench comes to the on-deck circle. The outfield deep and around toward left. Oster with good speed at first base carries a tying run. Geronimo over at third. Zambito into the stretch, and his first pitch to Johnny Bench. Swung on and ripped foul. Look out. He dropped Geronimo. He dropped Russ Nixon. And he moved Larry Starr out of the way, standing down at the far end of the Reds dugout as the ball ricocheted off the railing and kicked onto the playing surface. So Johnny Bench scatters him with a wicked line drive foul. LaCourte in the dugout, hoping that Zambito can get Bench to end the game. The Reds battling right down to the final out. Number 5 waiting on the 1-strike pitch, and here it is. That's a ball. Houston has used Ryan, Andujar, Neiman, LaCourte, and now Zambito. The Reds have used Leibrandt, Soto, and Hume. The way it stands now, LaCourte would win it, Soto would lose it. Johnny Bench trying to bring him around with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Zambito looks to Oster and pitches to Bench. Up high, 2-1. Should we go to the last of the 9th inning, Doug Bear would pitch it. Runners take their leads at first and third. The entire Houston defense overshifting around toward left, infield, outfield. Zambito with a pause, and he'll throw to first base. Oster steps back. A lot of people have seen action in this one, I'll tell you. What a ball game. Man, oh man, oh man. Okay, ready with a pitch. Nope, he'll throw to first again. Zambito just letting Oster know that he knows he's over there. Bench points a bat, now waiting with it cocked. Here comes the 2-1 to the plate. Swing and a miss. John lost a bat. On the recoil, the bat came out of his hands. And with that swing, he left no doubt in anybody's mind what he was trying to do. He's back to the on-deck circle to rub the handle up with the rosin bag, and now slowly makes his way back toward the plate. Zambito standing behind the mound. Moves back on top. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. 1 run is in. The Reds are down by 2 at 12-10. Zambito trying to do the job he's paid for. Bench attempting to do the same thing. He sights a sign from Ashby. He brings it on up to the plate. Here it is. And Bench fouls it off the chest protector of plate umpire Harris. Next Friday night, these 2 clubs will be having at it again in Game 1 of what will be a 4-game series in Cincinnati. Friday night, Twinighter at Riverfront, the first ever in the stadium's 10-year history, beginning at 5:30 Saturday, and then a single game on Sunday. In between, the Reds will be in San Francisco for 4. The Astros will go to Atlanta for 4. The count holding at 2-2. The pitch. Ball 3, and Zambito and Craig Reynolds and Art Howe and Enos Cabell and Denny Walling and all the rest of the Astros, they thought that was strike 3. Bench let it pass, and as we say in the game, the string is out. Oster will be on the move. Oh, if you could get a gapper here, we could tie her up. The payoff pitch to Johnny Bench. It's on the way. And he pops him up but out of play. So the battle will wage anew. John McNamara showing concern, banging his hands together down in the Reds dugout. Zambito looks in again. Oster leading at first. He breaks. Here comes a payoff to Bench. Ball 4. Bases are loaded. So Joe Zambito, pitching carefully to Johnny Bench, ends up walking him to load the bases. The hitter will be Dave Collins, who is without a hit in 2 official trips to the plate tonight. He has walked 3 times and scored 2 runs. So Collins now will try and see what he can do about getting a base hit that, of course, of any distance at all would tie it up, because now the tying run is at second base. Davey batting .280. Bases loaded, 2 down as the tension continues in the 9th inning. Zambito comes to the plate. Collins takes the ball low. Collins, against left-handed pitching, hitting only .240. Against right-handers going at .302. And, of course, facing one of the premier left-handed relief pitchers in baseball in Joe Zambito. Geronimo at third, Oster at second, Bench at first, the 1-0 to Collins. Swung on and fouled away. Houston 12, Cincinnati 10. The Reds have scored once here in the 9th inning. Dreesen led off with a double. Knight fly to left. Geronimo single. Dreesen to third. Danny scored on a LaCourte wild pitch. Geronimo went to second on another wild pitch. Foster struck out. Nolan has walked. Bench has walked. Oster came in to run for Joe Nolan, and that's where we are right now. From Zambito to Collins, the 1-1 pitch. Up high, ball 2. 2-1. Should Collins get on, next up would be Dave Concepcion. Nobody throwing in the Houston bullpen. The Astros will sink or swim with Joe Zambito. Doug Bear waiting down in the Reds bullpen to see if his services will be needed in the bottom of the inning. Here's a pitch. Swung on, pop fly, back into shallow left. There's Craig Reynolds, and Houston wins it. Zambito gets it done. After walking Johnny Bench, he gets Collins on a broken bat pop to Craig Reynolds. In the ninth for the Reds, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left. Houston takes the rubber match 12-10. They now lead by 6.5, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, it was simply one of those wild, freewheeling affairs here in the Dome in the final game of the 3-game series. Each club had won a game and lost a game, and it went back and forth. The pitching mound was about the unsafest place to be in the Astrodome today, but in the end, the Astros went with their bread and butter Joe Zambito, and with a game on the line. He got the job done coming on for Frank LaCorte in the 9th inning after the Reds had scored a run. He walked Johnny Bench to load him up with 2 out, and ended it by getting Dave Collins on a broken bat pop-up to shortstop Craig Reynolds to preserve the 12-10 win. The Reds jumped on Nolan Ryan for 2 runs in the first inning. Ryan was starting and trying to pick up 4 strikeouts that would have made him the 4th pitcher in Major League history to reach the 3,000 mark. As it turned out, it was a long afternoon for Ryan. Reds scored twice in the first inning, a walk to Collins, a triple by Concepcion, a later sacrifice fly, making it 2-0. But then in the bottom half of the second, the Astros drove Charlie Lebrun off the mound by batting around and scoring 5 times to take a 5-2 lead. The Reds got Ryan out in the 5th inning. They took a turn at sending everybody to the plate and scoring 4 runs to take a 6-5 lead. Not only was Ryan taken out of the game in that frame, but manager Bill Burton was ejected by plate umpire Lanny Harris, the first ejection of the year for the Houston manager. In that frame, there were base hits by Concepcion to drive in a run. Griffey got a run home with a fielder's choice. Danny Dreesen had an infield single to knock in a run. Ray Knight had a base hit to send the Reds out in front 6-5, and that's the way it was after 4.5. The Reds came back and scored twice more in the 6th inning. A 2-run single by Dave Concepcion was a big blow, and the Reds led 8-5 after 5.5 innings. Houston came back in the bottom of the 6th inning. They scored twice on a single by Craig Reynolds and a pinch hit home run by Denny Walling. It was 8-7 Reds after 6. The Reds got a run home in the 7th inning off of Frank LaCorte, an unearned run brought about by an error by the Houston pitcher that loaded the bases. And 1 out later, Joe Nolan had a sacrifice fly to right field to give the Reds a 9-7 lead. But the Reds bullpen failed in the bottom of the 7th. Houston sent 8 batters to the plate. The big blow, a 2-run pinch hit double by Joe Morgan off of Tommy Hume that sent a couple of runs across and gave Houston a lead that, as things turned out, they were not to relinquish. They came back with 2 more runs in the 8th inning off Hume, a double by Poole, a base hit by Cedeno, got 1 run in, and a later single by our star of the game, Art Howe, got the 12th Houston run of the night home. The Reds tried to rally in the 9th inning and did in fact get a run in. A double by Danny Dreesen, a wild pitch after a base hit by Cesar Geronimo got Dreesen home from third to make it 12-10. George Foster sent up to pinch hit for the first time this season, and Frank LaCorte did a good job on him by striking him out. Then Nolan got the base on balls. At that point, Zambito came on. He walked Johnny Bench, but then got the game's final out with a pop-up off the bat of Collins to Craig Reynolds. The Astros had 12 runs on 17 hits, an error, and 8 left. The Reds had 10 runs, 11 hits, no errors, and 9 stranded. Frank LaCorte remains undefeated. He's 5-0. Joe Zambito got his 11th save, his 10th save of the year, and the loser was Soto. He remains winless in now 3 decisions. To give you an idea of how closely contested this series was, in the 3 games, the Reds had 22 runs and 37 base hits. Houston scored 22 runs. They had 34 base hits. But the Astros win 2 of the 3 because in 2 different occasions with a game on the line, and in both cases it was Joe Zambito Friday night when he retired the Reds in order in the 9th after Jose Cruz had the 2-run triple that sent Houston out in front. And of course today, by getting the final out with the bases loaded, the Astros were able to rely on a sure performer in their bullpen today to take the rubber match in the series. The Reds head on now to San Francisco, first of 4 there tomorrow night. Tom Seaver will go to the mound for Cincinnati against either Ed Whitson or rookie right-hander Bill Bortley. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows on most of these same stations beginning at 10:05 Cincinnati time. Again, the final score tonight, the game that took 3 hours and 20 minutes to play before a crowd of 39,375. The Astros 12 and the Reds 10.